We have some major breaking news that has been announced that Layne Riggs has been disqualified from the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Kansas Speedway. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. As I just said in the Senate, we got some pretty massive and major breaking news tonight, as it has been officially announced and confirmed that Layne Riggs has been disqualified from the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Kansas Speedway. After the crossing the finish line in second place, after putting on a really good showing battle between Carson Osabar at the end of the event, it is all for nothing at this point, as unfortunately he has been disqualified from the Truck Series event at Kansas Speedway. Now, why was Layne Riggs disqualified? Well, according to Bob Pockets, the reason that Layne Riggs was disqualified was because a bed cover issue. I'm not exactly sure what the rules are in regards to the Craftsman Truck Series and the bed covers on the back of the trucks, but I think the bed cover might be something very important on that truck. It's a tough break for Layne Riggs because Layne Riggs is a guy who drives the truck right, but unfortunately in this case and situation, like I've talked about with other disqualifications, rules are rules. But again, it's tough for Layne because he was so close to picking up that win, but that win or that second place finish doesn't really matter at this point because now Layne goes from being really far up on the regular season standings, which I still think he's in a pretty good position at this point, to dropping really far back. Now, also, he loses, I think, the fastest point award, so I believe he finished second. I think he was in position to win the fastest award. But we've got some new positions in the standings of the results as well because of this. Because of Layne Riggs being disqualified from the Craftsman Truck Series race at Kansas, that means that we have a lot of changes. Now, for those wondering about Carson Osabar, who did win the race, he is good to go. He did pass post-race inspection. But because it was taking so long to get post-race inspection done, I felt that there was going to be another disqualification. But we've got another one. So because of this, Carson Osabar is still the winner. But we've got a lot of changes. William Byron moves up to second position. He was clear in post-race inspection. He'll move up to second, get the runner finish, meaning that Spire Motorsports finishes 1 and 2. Corey Heim moves up to third, moves up another spot. Will gain a ton of points in the regular season standings with his third place finish. He will be credited with third. Gio Ruggiero moves up to fourth place, gets one of his best finishes in his Truck Series career. Stuart Friesen gets a top 5 in fifth place. Brandon Jones will move up to 6th position. Jake Garcia will move up to 7th. Caden Honeycomb moves up to 8th. Grant Anfinger moves up to 9th. And Daniel Hammer goes up to 10th. Ben Rose moves up to 11th. Matt Mills moves up to 12th. Matt Crafton moves up to 13th. Ty Majeski goes up to 14th because of this. Dawson Sutton gets a top 15 even after his penalty. He does recover for a top 15 in 15th place. Tyler Anker moves up to 16th. Chandler Smith goes up to 17th. Connor Mosag goes up to 18th. Andres Perez finishes 19th. And Tony Breininger gets her second top 20 finish of the season in 20th. Raja moves up to 21st. 22nd for Cody Dennison. 23rd for Spencer Boyd. 24th for Jack Wood. Morgan Barrett finished 25th. Bailey Curry finished 26th. Tanner Gray finished 27th. Frankie Muniz finishes 28th. David Bird finished 29th. Luke Baldwin moves up in the top 30. And because of Layne Riggs' disqualification, he moves back to 31st. I believe that is now almost tied for the record of most disqualifications we have seen so far this year. I think a lot of these teams are really trying to bend the rules at this point because they're so used to a lot of rules they've had. We've had some in the Cup Series this year. Eric Jones got disqualified for weights not being on the car correctly at Martinsville. We had the big disqualification at Talladega for Joey Logano and Ryan Preece. Joey Logano had finished originally 5th. He got disqualified, then of course won the next week at Texas Motor Speedway, so that really didn't matter. And Ryan Preece had basically something, I think it was a bolt on the back of Logano's spoiler, I'm pretty sure. And with Ryan Preece, it was basically having 3 shims on the back of the spoiler instead of 2. And then he had Parker Kligerman, who got disqualified for the rear end of the truck being way too low. They of course tried to appeal it, and they lost their appeal. This is a really big deal with disqualifications. We've had it. And Justin Bonzanor and Jesse Love, forgot about this. Jesse Love originally was the winner of the race at Rockingham. He got disqualified for, I believe, something in the back of the spoiler. I'm pretty sure they appealed it. They lost their appeal. And Justin Bonzanor also got disqualified as well. We have seen a lot in this era. You think about Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. Both those individuals got disqualified. And then, of course, you had some other big disqualifications in recent years. Eric Jones had multiple at this point. We saw Brad Keselowski disqualified at Martinsville in that finish of Ross Chastain. One thing gets overshadowed is Brad Keselowski got disqualified in that same race. And there's been a lot of them so far this year, and I think a lot of it is because the teams are so used to the rules at this point in these lower series that they're trying to figure out a way to go ahead and bend those rules so they can go ahead and try to find a big gray area, and I think these teams are messing with that. But again, the person I really feel bad for in this situation is Layne Riggs. And this is now the second time, I'm pretty sure, that Layne Riggs has got a disqualification. Because if I remember correctly, at Atlanta last year, I think he got disqualified for the spoiler being too low on the back of the truck, I'm pretty sure. So this is now the second time Layne Riggs has been disqualified in the last couple of years. Layne Riggs has had a lot of bad luck, man. The guy just can't catch a break, it seems like. Anytime it looks like he's going to have an opportunity to pick up a win and victory, things don't go well for him. And if again, I feel terrible for Layne. He had done a really good job all night long, one of the best trucks in the field, one of the few guys, in my opinion, that's been able to keep up with Corey Heim throughout the whole entire season. But again, as I've already mentioned before, the rules are rules in this situation. It's just a shame because you want to see a guy like Layne Riggs do really well. He's proven himself time and time again that he can be up front and contend with these guys. But unfortunately, in this case and situation, sometimes things like this happen. Now, at the time I'm recording this, Farmer Motorsports has not announced if they are going to appeal disqualification, but I would think there's a very good chance and possibly they're going to potentially try to appeal a DQ, considering the fact it's a second place finish. It was a really good run for the team. I know that Ryan Preece, they did not appeal it for when they got disqualified. If they can't find a way to appeal it, then basically they'll just take what they've got. But it's tough for Layne again, man. He has done so good this year in that truck, and to just have something like a disqualification come up, something that the driver has no control over, and only the team really has control over, is a really frustrating and sucky situation all around. But like I've already mentioned and said before, the rules are rules in this situation. We had gone 1 week without a disqualification. Now this is the third week. In the last 4 weeks, we've had a disqualification. I hope we don't have a disqualification for the Cup Series race later today when you guys are watching this, but there's been so many of them this year. There's been like 6 or 7. It seems like every week I'm going to have to prepare to do some sort of disqualification video because I'm just wondering if we're going to keep getting these left, right, and center. Watch them how we have one in the Cup Series race because I think at this point that might end up happening. But tough break there for Layne Riggs. But again, the rules are rules. Just tough to see Layne Riggs get disqualified after the Craftsman Truck Series race at Kansas after putting on a really good show with Carson. We're still going to talk about the great finish between those two guys, but it doesn't really matter at this point because Layne did get disqualified. So that is going to be it for tonight's breaking news video on Layne Riggs being disqualified from the Craftsman Truck Series race at Kansas. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your thoughts about tonight's special breaking news report on Layne Riggs? Do you think that they were fair on the decision or not? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we are going to have the starting lineup video for the Advent Health 400 at Kansas Speedway. We're also going to have the Cup Series race to be from Kansas Speedway. And if Shane Van Gisbergen does really well, we'll do a video on that. We might do some stuff around Red Bull talking about that as well. Monday, we're going to have a long NASCAR news video to discuss news over the course of the last couple days. We'll talk more about this disqualification from Kansas. We'll talk about the GMS racing rumors. We'll talk about the lawsuit between 2011 Front Row and the big update that happened earlier this week. And we'll talk about some other stuff that's been talked about in the coming days and weeks. We got content coming on people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carlos Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Clay Zafar, Matt Benedetto, Frankie Muniz, Junior Motorsports once again, Dodge, Honda, you name it. We'll talk about all this stuff in the coming days and weeks as we got a lot of good racing coming up. We've got the All-Star race coming up very soon. We'll talk about that really, really soon. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.